Welcome back, guys. Welcome back. It's your boy DELRAY Richardson, platinum artist, platinum songwriter, straight game TV. And we got to talk about it, man. Wow. I'm starting to I'm starting to see something here. I don't know. Um, because you have many more attorneys. I'm gonna show you why. I'm gonna show you something that most people not really paying attention to right now. Let's talk about it. Wait for everybody to come up in here. Come on up in here. Let's talk about it. Let's talk about it. Wait for some more people to come up in here. Miss Brown Sugar, happy Saturday to you. Happy Saturday to you, Miss Brown Sugar. Thank you for coming through. I appreciate it. Let's talk about it, ladies and gentlemen. Mr. Blackburn. Brownsville, Brooklyn, what's good? We want to talk about it. Robert Brown, Lafayette, Indiana. Let's talk about it. Hey, look, we got the new lawsuit, Christian Combs, right? Ladies and gentlemen, I'm just want to ask a question because most people are not really paying attention to this. This seems more like a money grab to me. This whole situation now. And I'm going to tell you why, and I want you to understand me clearly about what I'm about to say. And for any woman who has ever really endured anything serious involving anything happening to you, I apologize to you. And I would hope that you would never have to endure anything that you've been through as a woman. Leroy Miles, Trader Realist, The Assembled. Let's get into this. There's a lot of people that are listening right now that haven't, uh, they listening, but they not letting it be known that they listening, and I'm cool with that, and I love that too. Thank you for the support, but more importantly, let's get into it. So this new lawsuit involving Sean P. Diddy Combs' son, Christian Combs, right? This new lawsuit is, um, I would say, it's a lot of lewd information contained in the lawsuit. But I want to from the beginning, right? Basically, 31-page lawsuit filed after, and it seems like Mr. Blackburn has been going out trying to find people who are willing to go the mile, if you will, in regards to saying that somebody or Sean P. Diddy Combs or his son, you know, noticed keeping it around in that stratosphere, if you will. And now notice that um, the young lady who is saying this, and I don't want to mention her name. I really, you know what I mean? Like I said, once again, I'm looking at it from the perspective of this. It says that they on the yacht, Puffy them, they rent the yacht. She's one of the stewardesses on the yacht, basically a crew member, if you will, and a bartender on the boat. Says so now listen. First of all, she's a bartender on the boat. Listen, the young lady um, who worked on the boat is a crew member and a bartender on the boat. Says that in late December 2022, Christian Combs pressured her to drink tequila that she believes was spiked with other drugs. That she believes was spiked with other drugs, right? Basically saying that he uh, groped her uh, breasts, other areas of her body and attempted to force her to perform fellatio on him, if you will, right? Um, you know, I first of all, basically, she was saying that you know, they had sex workers on the boat. This is what she alleged. People who appeared to be sex workers on the boat, right? So basically, they're saying Sean P. Diddy Combs chartered the yacht throughout the holidays in 2022. He had full control of the staff and the premises and created circumstances where her assault was not only tolerated but encouraged, if you will. The young lady at the time, who was 25, said that Christian Combs, then 24, came aboard late one night. He appeared heavily intoxicated. Now, listen, he appeared heavily intoxicated already, right? And began giving her inappropriate attention, if you will. She said that the two were in a music studio on board the ship. Now, hold on. So, if he's coming into the aboard the ship late that night, right? Like I said, this I'm just reading what the case said. If he's coming aboard the ship late that night, how do they wind up in the studio? From that perspective, is she an R&B singer? She trying to cut a demo? You know what? I'm just trying to figure out and what happened. So she said the two were in a music studio on board the ship, where producer Rodney Jones, who filed his own lawsuit in February, as we know of, was told to be available around the clock for Sean Combs to work on his next album, right? This is what she's alleging that happened. Or is this what the lawyer is saying that she says happened? Because how would she know that? She said the two were in the music studio on board the ship, where producer Rodney Jones filed his own lawsuit in February and was told to be available. Okay, she's saying Lil Rod said that. The young lady said that in the suit that Christian Combs was insistent that she take shots of tequila, and she drank out of obligation. Was insistent. I mean, did he grab her? Did he choke her? Did he twist her arm? No, I don't want, no, I don't drink. I can't drink. I'm working. You know, any of those things. So out of obligation, she was obligated to drink it. Why? I don't know. If you're working and you're doing your job, I don't know why you're obligated to drink, and somebody's making you feel obligated to drink, if you will, right? The suit alleges he became increasingly aggressive with her, violently grabbing her arm as she tried to get out of the situation, then groping her. Ladies and gentlemen, this sounds like a Hollywood script. This sounds like something, and I'm not saying that ain't nothing happened to the young lady, but this sounds like a Hollywood. This sounds like it's lewd to be lewd. She's in the studio, Little Rod's in the studio, and um, all of a sudden, Christian Combs, he's already drunk, and now they're in the studio. So now he's drunk coming in, now in the studio. Somehow she gets in the studio with them, and then all of a sudden, um, Christian Combs is allegedly telling her, "Yo, you gotta drink this tequila." You know what I mean? And you gotta drink it out of obligation. This is someone who is working. Whether you're on a rented yacht, which is a little bit more, um, should be a little bit more professional when you have high value people paying for it from that perspective, right? So she's saying, okay, now we in the studio. He pulls out a bottle of tequila or whatever, but she's the bartender, right? And so, in being the bartender and being a worker, she's not supposed to be drinking anyway from that perspective, or at least she's not supposed to be. The suit alleges that that Christian Combs became increasingly aggressive with her, right? Once again, here comes the aggressive black man. You know, um, you know, Christian Combs can't be all of 100 and I would say 125, 130 pounds, if you will, right? But he became increasingly aggressive with her, violently grabbing her arms as she tried to get out of the situation, then groping her. You know what I mean? Ooh, you know what I mean? The shock value here, and I understand why Christian Combs's lawyer would say that it's lewd and it's meritless, because it's meant to grab you, if you will. And that's why I say, any woman who's ever been through anything serious, you know what I mean, I'm gonna apologize to you right now, because a lot of times people who have been through serious situations involving things like this, people are now going after money. It's no longer, like I said, it's I don't know, man. you know for a few dollars now. This is 2 years ago. There were no criminal charges. There was no police report made. See, if she would have made a police report, I'm more apt to believe what she's saying. There was no police report. She said she reported to the ship, but it wasn't investigated. To hell with that ship. You feel like you was wrong, you call the police, and then you make your police report from that perspective, right? It wasn't done. Okay, now let's go and sue civilly. And so anything involving a civil lawsuit is usually considered a money grab from that perspective. Like I said, I wasn't there. I don't know what happened. I'm reading the actual from the actual case filing and what was said, right? Now, you got to understand something. Sean P. Diddy Combs has had money for a long time. He's been getting money for a while, right? I'm not saying that he's innocent. I'm not saying that he's guilty. I'm not saying his son innocent. I'm not saying his son is guilty. But let me tell you something, man. One thing I know, and seeing Tupac and being around and whatever, and all of those things, right? If you got $1 billion, you ain't got to go around taking nothing from no woman, man. And the young lady also said that she saw what appeared to be sex workers. So now what they want us to believe, now, okay, we got sex workers who are hired to do what we want them to do when we want to do when we want them to do it, right? But now we still on the boat, on the yacht, we still trying to assault other people, other women. I'm just happy. She's saying that what appears somebody who appeared to be a sex worker. So she is a sex worker, right? Or what appeared to be a sex worker. She doesn't know that, right? So how is it alleged in the lawsuit? This is what I'm saying. How is it alleged in the lawsuit about something that appears to be something that you don't know? Once again, kind of just trying to insinuate some of the most negative things that you possibly can insinuate. People got to be careful with this, man. You got to be careful. Like I said, and a lot of people, they give their judgment because they don't got that kind of money. You know what I mean? They ain't, having that kind of money where they could rent a yacht and have people on it. They're saying celebrities and so on and so forth, right? So you got to be careful what you wish on somebody else, man. I'm just reading this, and it sounds like, you know, after Little Rod's lawsuit was made, then they basically amended the lawsuit to add more stuff to it that really had no merit or any kind of proof or factual or facts to really back it up. The situation like with 50 Cent baby mama, they labeled her as a sex worker. That girl ain't no sex worker. I mean, she got a baby by 50 Cent. She was dating Sean Combs, or for whatever reason, he was taking care of her, and that's what that was. They saying sex worker like this is what she do. She's hauled up in some apartment building waiting for various guys just to come in and out, in and out, and in and out, that type of thing. That's what I view from that perspective when you're dealing with something like that, right? And so, and she's basically saying the drinks made everything blurry unusually quickly, the suit says, right? And so now, once again, it's like if you want to tell a story, So that, you know what I mean? And you want to tell it, and you want to tell it to the T of what it is. The drinks made her blurry, usually quickly. The suit says microphones in the studio where Jones was told to capture everything recorded their exchange, and the lawsuit includes a transcript of where the young lady said demands that Christian Combs stop touching her, right? So they basically saying that they got, you know, um microphones in the studio, inside the studio, not in the booth where you record at, but I guess outside the studio, right? Where she's saying, telling Christian Combs to stop touching her. My thing is this: if you feel uncomfortable, leave, go, leave, go, just leave. I mean, she basically saying that he was, I guess, holding her against her will. The suit alleges that he later continued to assault in the ship's movie. He continued the assault in the ship's movie theater. So now they went from the studio to the movie theater, which was used as a spare sleeping area and where she was attempting to find a place to spend the night because the rooms were all taken before another crew member appeared and he stopped. What? So you mean to tell me she's working on a cruise ship that don't have no place for the crew members to sleep? I'm gonna read that again. It said the suit alleges that later he continued the assault in the ship's movie theater, which was used as a spare sleeping area and where she was attempting to find a place to spend the night because the rooms were all taken before another crew member appeared and he stopped. The young lady told the yacht's captain about the assault the following morning, but she alleges that Combs gave him a large amount of cash the same day. The captain failed to meaningfully investigate the action. So now she's seen Sean P. Diddy Combs. Man, this is crazy, man. This. I mean, like I said, I'm not going to deny anything or speak to nobody's innocence or guilt, but this sounds manufactured to me. So everything happened, and she told the captain, but Sean P. Diddy Combs gave the captain a large amount of cash the same day. For what? What did he give him cash for? Because basically, they want us to believe that Christian went and told his father, "Yo, I did something last night," and blah 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 blah. But she's basically, nothing ever happened. He said he tried to make her give him fellatio, and it never happened, right? But then continued the assault. Assault? What? What do you mean? Did he hit her? Did he grab her? You know what I mean? Like assault. When somebody says assault, right? But then she basically says not that Sean Combs gave a tip on the credit card in which he rented the yacht, right? But he gave him a large amount of cash, something that could not be traced. And you can make that allegation and say, well, yeah, he gave him a whole wad of cash, and I seen that, right? How do you even confirm that? And the suit says that the young lady was eventually fired in retaliation and has since been unable to find work in the music industry where she had planned to build a career. Oh, I get it. Oh my goodness gracious. Oh my goodness gracious. So she was a bartender who wanted to be a singer, met Sean P. Diddy Combs or had the opportunity to work on the yacht. Things didn't go well. The demo that she might have gave him didn't, it wasn't hot. You know what I mean? And basically now she's saying that she was fired from her job. This is 2 years later. So now, listen to me. At any rate of what she's saying, the fact that she didn't go to the police is bothersome to me. It's bothersome to me. And the reason why I say that is because it is 2 years later, and you can, like you say, you file a lawsuit when you want to. But this is not a lawsuit by any attorney. there are so many attorneys in Los Angeles, man, who if they believe that, the young lady was wrong, she could have went to him and they would have definitely filed a lawsuit because Diddy got deep pockets, right? But there has to be merit in the lawsuit. Most attorneys are not going to take a case where they're dealing with a high value client, or a high value individual, and where they have to try to, you know, conjure up this story, or the story's not believable, and so on and so forth, right? Said the young lady was fired in retaliation. So now, if she was fired in retaliation, why then at that particular time didn't she sue the um the company that she worked for from that perspective, right? Or better yet, just go to the police and tell them what happened. This is why I got a problem with this. Not only that, after the Little Rod lawsuit, if you will, right? Um, it says in 2002 she suffered severe emotional trauma. Uh, the lawsuit basically seeks damages um, from that perspective, and Tyrone Blackburn is the attorney, uh, the same attorney for Little Rod, and it seems like, you know, um, he's not chasing ambulances, but he's chasing Sean P. Diddy Combs at this particular time, from that perspective. But like I said, there was nothing that I seen that actually happened. She said that you know, he tried to force her, and like I said once again, if you got girls and you seen the party that P. Diddy had, like his 50th birthday party, they put out a video on that, right? You see some of the people that is at his parties, the who's of who of everybody, right? But then, like I said, you see some of the women that Sean P. Diddy Combs has been linked to, and he ain't been linked to no slouches really though. And like I said, if they got girls that they hiring to come on the boat and you know what I mean, and do whatever they need them to do, if that's the case, right? We don't know. It's alleged that she seen what appeared to be somebody who was a sex worker, right? It's not really confirmed, right? But if you got girls on the boat, that's on the boat, willing to, hired to do whatever they need them to do, so they don't even have to deal with that. You know what I mean? That's one thing we ain't gonna have to deal with whether we gonna invite girls and whether they really want to get with it, or participate, in the party and whatever else, right? We're not gonna deal with that because he got that kind of money. Wait, look, we got girls, they coming, whatever, they at your, ready to go. And so now what she's basically saying is, you know, um, she's alleging that the same thing, kind of like with Tupac, where the girls, was supposed to be all of this thing. And this is the reason why I related it to Tupac, not to compare, what happened, but like I said, more importantly, to look at the same thing with Tupac. Tupac, when they put it in the media, it was, he did this, he did that, it was rape, it was all of these other things, right? But then when you really, peel the onion back, you've come to find out that basically it wasn't that. It wasn't nowhere near that. And then you got people coming out and say they had a relationship, right? And it wasn't that Tupac did anything to her. Then Tupac ended up going to jail for what was a tantamount to touching her on the butt. And he had been having relations with the young lady for some time now, which tells you that really wasn't what it was about, Then afterwards, the young lady who said the thing about Tupac that he went to jail for, she filed a civil lawsuit. Guess what? That civil lawsuit never made the media. It never made the news, right? Because once again, the object of a civil lawsuit is to get money. And so, like I said, if what really she's saying happened, I got a problem that she didn't go to law enforcement, because it would have made her case much more believable. And coming from the lawyer, Tyrone Blackburn, like I said, at this particular point, after he amended the Little Rod lawsuit to add in 50 Cent baby mama being a sex worker and all of this, it seems to me, man, this is just a money grab. It's about dollars, man. Like I said, the Little Rod lawsuit started over $50,000 when he said that they were trying to steal his publishing. When he was alleging that, it wasn't nothing being said, and then it came out. you know, we sitting back, like I said, you got certain people that don't like Diddy, don't care for him from that perspective now. But soon the young man's son and saying that he now allegedly did something to this young lady, and what's really, from what I'm reading in the case, did nothing happen from that perspective. You know, when you talk about, you know, women, like I said, you have women out here who have really gone through some traumatic, horrible shit. Let's be clear. You know what I mean? You know, that right now, the way things are going and how, Mr. Blackburn is approaching this situation, it's making those women cases and things like that seem frivolous. You know, you gotta really, really see through this, man. This is 2 years later. She didn't sue her employer, who she said fired her in retaliation. In retaliation for what? She didn't do anything. She didn't go to the police. You know, she didn't file a lawsuit. What did she do? You know, and now all of a sudden it comes out that the young lady was trying to get in the music business. That's why she was in the studio. So you think Christian Combs was in there, who she said she was also the bartender in the studio. He demanding that she actually take drinks of the tequila. Oh, he basically out of obligation. Out of obligation for what? You supposed to be working. You supposed to be professional at all times. You supposed to be making it clear that I am here to work and this is what I do for work. Right? So understandably, so with that, like I said, we got a lot of people who are quick to jump on this negative speaking bandwagon, right? And not really looking, and not what's being said, but what's not being said, if you will. And that's the sad part about it. Yeah, I'm sorry for the mic being distorted, but we're gonna keep on going. But like I said, that's the sad part about it. So when we talk about the big picture of what this really means, yeah, it's kind of funny, man. It's kind of actually sad, if you will. So, man, so what do you guys think? Yeah, apparently there's audio. Is there was that audio released? Um, and like I said, we won't be able to hear that, but like I said, if there's audio, okay, cool. We reserve the right to hear that first, though. You know, you could tell me that there's something. You could tell me you got evidence, but when it comes time to be able to go to court and say, okay, where's the discovery? You know, because if that's the case, then hey, you know, they supposedly had what was that? Lil Rod said he had pictures of underage girls drinking alcohol at the party, which appeared to be Christian Combs and Justin Combs' girlfriends and girls that they knew. We don't know if they was drinking alcohol or not, but that's what it appeared to be. And not only the photo that Lil Rob showed, but photos from other places, and where Sean P. Diddy Combs' son was actually with these girls, these same girls. You understand what I'm saying? So when we talk about and trying to be clear about what this is, like I said, and it's coming from the same attorney, Mr. Blackburn. So you got to kind of be leery of what that is. And I can see, like, you know, right now we don't got as many people in the chat as we usually would when people think that we're gonna talk bad and talk greasy about somebody. And like I said, that's not why I'm here. I'm looking at what they're basically presenting as evidence, what they're saying that happened, and basically nothing happened. You know, she's saying, "Oh, he grabbed me. He was aggressive with me." And those don't seem like her words. Those seem like the attorney's words, and they got somebody to stand behind what that is and what that was. You know, so basically telling me that Christian Combs followed her to he followed her to the movie theater where she was trying to look for a place to sleep. You know, they have staff members who are inadequately exposed to people not given their own sleeping area, the sleeping quarters where the staff supposed to sleep, versus the sleeping quarters where the person who's occupying the yacht supposed to sleep. And so, like I said, I'm trying to see what it is. Little Rod. They basically Little Rod is going to be the witness for this young lady, right? And in hopes that, eh, they probably can try to. I don't think that, once again, this is what shows you that the P Diddy lawsuit is not really working. This says to me that the P Diddy lawsuit is not working. They not going Sean Puffy Combs is not going to settle. That's what that tells me. It tells me, because when you go and you got to find somebody else and you're saying, well, this person right here, she was assaulted by a son. Oh, you know, and this is 2 years later. There was no criminal complaint. There's no police report, no none of that. And basically, she's saying that the person that she did report it to, the captain of the ship, Sean P. Diddy Combs, gave him a wad of money. How do you substantiate that? And so that's the thing that I'm saying from that perspective when you talk about the bigger picture of what that is and what that means. Yeah, so I mean, passport, bro. Like I said, once again, that's why I reserve the right to judge from that perspective. And like I said, Mr. Blackburn, the guy who's filing this case, is the same, is Lil Rod's lawyer. So now it makes him look like not an ambulance chaser, but a billionaire chaser or a millionaire chaser. If you, it's like doing a commercial for the drugs. If you've been around Sean P. Diddy Combs in the last 6 months, you might want to call me. And man, come on, man, come on, y'all. Absolutely, Miss Brown Sugar. And like I said, the ladies in the chat, y'all know. Like I said, the ladies in the chat, you ladies know. Ladies know. And like I said, once again, this young lady was at work. All she had to do was remove herself from the premises. But she come to find out the reason why she was in the studio is because, as the lawsuit says, that she wanted to be a singer. She wanted to, she was in there with Lil Rod and, looking at Christian Combs and feeling like, okay, this is my opportunity to be close to the game, if you will. You would Sean P. Diddy Combs, one of the most famous people in the music business, and you dealing with his son or whatever have you, and so on and so forth. Now here comes 2 years later, here comes a lawsuit by an attorney who's representing another young man who said in the beginning that they were trying to take his publishing, and he just wanted to get paid for his publishing before all of these other things had came about from that perspective. And like I said, not to speak to the innocence or guilt of anybody, but when you think about it, now this lawsuit coming out now, man, yeah, it's crazy. So what do you think, Carla Shepard? What's your thoughts? You always pretty articulate. She after the money. Yeah, she after the money. And like I said, I don't even get it, man. But my thing is, if you read the it's a 31 page lawsuit. And when you read it, what did he do? It's like she's starting to it's like the same thing was filed in the Lil Rod lawsuit. It's basically it's a do-over, if you will. She's not saying that anything really happened to her, right? She's starting to talk about what was going on around the ship and saying that, oh, it started, Sean P. Diddy Combs made it a hedonist environment, like they were a bunch of heathens, acting out of, you know what I mean, not knowing how to act, a bunch of wild animals. And, this is what she's trying, what the lawsuit is trying to depict, right? So it's not based on what happened to her. It's based on how good of a story can I tell in this lawsuit in regards to something that allegedly happened to me. But you know what? Let me tell you what the environment was like. They had sex, they had alleged sex workers. They had a girl who locked herself in the bathroom that didn't want to be there and said that she was ready to go home, and so on and so forth. Once again, where is that young lady? If that were the case, if that she felt that way and if it was something being wrong. So now, once again, it's look how great of a story I can tell and have no kind of evidence to back up what I'm saying. And like I said, nobody knows what happened but them. But like I said, from what I'm reading in this lawsuit and coming from Mr. Blackburn, if it came from another attorney, then I would be more apt to believe, like, okay, another attorney picked this up, somebody who went to law school, willing to put their, career and their reputation as a lawyer on the line, from that perspective. But right now, it's coming from the same guy who's Little Rod's attorney, who basically amended Little Rod's complaint and then started adding a whole bunch of other stuff that they couldn't prove. Number one, the thing they couldn't prove was that 50 Cent's baby mama was a sex worker. They put that in the lawsuit. They couldn't prove none of these other girls that they were saying that was sex. They haven't proved nobody as a sex worker yet. Right? They haven't. But they're labeling people as sex workers. So much so that 50 Cent's baby mama's talking about filing her own lawsuit for defamation in regards to being described as such. No, we're not saying Diddy innocent, Diego. Once again, we're not saying that he's guilty either. We're looking at what the complaint says, and we're looking at whether it has merit or is it a money grab. And like I said, if you have not read the complaint, Diego 1987, I think that you need to go and read the complaint. You see what I'm saying? So we're trying to just deal with the informed information. We don't know. So Diego, let me ask you a question. So Diddy guilty now? Because he hadn't been tried in court. Like I said 3 times, I'm not speaking as to the innocence or guilt. So what do you think? Since you want to ask that question. They say it's not looking good for him. You know what I mean? I don't know what it's looking like for him because I don't know the facts. All I know is the information that has been put out. And right, the information that's been put out, right? All I'm saying is this is the same lawyer who filed Lil Rod's lawsuit, who put 50 Cent baby mama in an amended complaint, right? Saying that she's a sex worker. And that's not true. And we know it's not true. We can see that with our own eyes, that it's not true. Well, like I said, no, I'm talking about 50 Cent baby mama. I don't know if all of the other claims are true, but I'm saying we seen 50 with her. They got a son together. They not together no more. They had their little problems. And then she evidently hooked up with Puffy somehow kind of way. But the thing that she was being paid to be a sex worker and all of this old craziness, that where are the facts to back that up? Even if Sean Combs was taking care of her and giving her money every month or giving her money every week, ain't nothing wrong with that. It's a lot of dudes that do that. So at the end of the day, yeah. He said, call him Curtis what a suspect was. Yeah, it's called whatever. But guess what? That's his money. That ain't my money. He can do what he want with it. He can trick, treat, and do whatever he want with his money. That's his business. Some dudes broke and they can't trick. I think they be mad because they can't trick like that. If they had money, they might want to trick like that. But like I said, you call it what you want. You know what I mean? So like I said, at the end of the day, this is the new lawsuit. And like more what stands out to me the most about this situation is that now it comes out that the young lady she wanted to be a music star or some kind of it says that basically it says the young lady was eventually fired in retaliation for what I really don't know, and has since been unable to find work in the music industry. But what my thing is, I thought she was working. I thought she was working on the boat, on the yacht, as a bartender and as a crew member. And basically now it's saying that she was fired in retaliation and has since been unable to find work in the music industry where she planned to build a career. What happened? I don't see what I mean. It's since 2022 she has suffered severe emotional trauma. You know, yeah, yeah. I had to chime in on this one, man, because like I said, after reading it, basically P Diddy and them lawyer, they basically said his lawyer name is Dyer, right? Um, and then when you talk about what Little Rod said, basically, listen, Little Rod said in federal lawsuit, basically, um, filed by we know Tyrone Blackburn, the same attorney as the young lady, right? Includes allegations that Sean Combs coerced him to solicit prostitutes. Listen to this, man. Lil Rod said that Sean P. Diddy Combs coerced him to solicit prostitutes and pressured him to have sex with them. Prostitutes where? Prostitutes are on with all due respect, on Hollywood Boulevard, right? You would have to pay a prostitute. I don't understand it. How? What do you mean? Coerced him to solicit prostitutes and pressured him to have sex with them. Now, where was this at? Was they riding in the car on Hollywood Boulevard? Was they on Pico? Where do you see prostitutes and you see them out there, readily doing their thing? Pimps, prostitutes. We think about that from that perspective, right? And pressured him to have sex with them. I don't know. This is what the lawsuit says. You see what I'm saying? But P. Diddy's attorney basically said in a statement that this newest lawsuit is filled with the same kind of manufactured lies and irrelevant facts we've come to expect from Blackburn. Once again, I'm going to read that again. P. Diddy's lawyer is basically saying in his statement that this new lawsuit filed on this young lady's behalf is filled with the same kind of manufactured lies and irrelevant facts we come to expect from Blackburn, from the lawyer, basically, right? Yeah. He also pointed out that Judge Denise L. Cote criticized. Listen, because a lot of people ain't up on this one. Listen, I want y'all to listen, because Blackburn has also been criticized by the judge in the Little Rod's case. See, a lot of y'all didn't know that, right? Dyer, P. Diddy's attorney, basically letting us know what's going on and saying that U.S. District Judge Denise L. Cote criticized Blackburn in a separate lawsuit on Wednesday and referred him to a disciplinary committee for a pattern of behavior where he improperly files cases in federal court to garner media attention, embarrasses defendants with salacious allegations, and pressures defendants to settle quickly. Did y'all hear that? Y'all ain't listening. I told you. Listen, man. When we were talking about this not too long ago, when the lawyer had said that Blackburn was doing some things and they would the judge, U.S. District Court Judge Denise L. Cote criticized Little Rod's attorney and this young lady's attorney, right? Tyrone Blackburn. She criticized Tyrone Blackburn in a separate lawsuit on this past Wednesday and referred him to a disciplinary committee for a pattern of behavior where he improperly files cases in federal court to garner media attention, embarrass defendants with salacious allegations, and pressure defendants to settle quickly. Blackburn responded in an email that a referral is not a sanction, and the statement from Combs' lawyer was an attempt to deflect and distract. What? Did y'all hear what I just said? The lawyer, the judge in the Little Rod lawsuit basically is saying that Mr. Blackburn is filing frivolous lawsuits and then going and making these salacious stories up, trying to get defendants to settle quickly. Absolutely, the judge saying that is huge. See, but this, look, but this is, they're not gonna report on this. You see it. I'm gonna read that one more time because, like I said, a lot of people are missing the game, man. They're missing the game. They're missing the game. This is what's starting to let you know what's really going on. Judges don't really do that. Judges don't really come in and involve themselves in a case in that manner, right? I'm going to say it one more time. The judge involved in the Little Rod case, U.S. District Court Judge Denise L. Coate, criticized Tyrone Blackburn, Little Rod's attorney, and this young lady's attorney. The judge criticized Blackburn in a separate lawsuit on Wednesday and referred him to a disciplinary committee for a pattern. And that's why I always say, like, yo, behavior patterns. Like I said, in what Cassie was saying about Diddy, about the gun. Like I said, when you see patterns in behavior, that kind of leads people to think a certain kind of way. So that goes to show you that I'm not speaking to Sean P. Diddy Combs' innocence or his guilt. I'm talking about when you read something, the Jennifer Lopez situation, where they said, a Little Rod had said, yeah, P. Diddy told him that he made Jennifer Lopez carry the gun back in 1999. And then with the situation involving Cassie, where she says that Sean P. Diddy Combs made her carry the gun, when they would go out, carry the gun in her purse. Those two stories, they kind of from two people who were intimately involved with him in a relationship, right? So that pattern of behavior would be, or that pattern of conversation or whatever, or behavior would be consistent, right? But Tyrone Blackburn basically was criticized by U.S. District Court Judge Denise L. Coate in a separate lawsuit on Wednesday and referred to him to a disciplinary committee for a pattern of behavior where he improperly files cases in federal court to garner media attention, which will in turn, if you have a lawsuit or you believe you've been wrong, you can go look for Tyrone Blackburn and he's going to file your lawsuit for you, no matter how frivolous or how serious, if he feel like he can take it on and then include it with a bunch of salacious allegations and things like that, and hoping that the person would settle soon, right? Basically, she referred him to the disciplinary committee for a pattern of behavior where he improperly files cases in federal court to garner media attention, number one, embarrass defendants with salacious allegations, number two, and pressure defendants to settle quickly. Blackburn responded in an email basically saying a referral is not a sanction. Does it have to get that far? I would think that the judge saying that to him is trying to get him and trying to put him on the right path. But evidently he doesn't seem like there's anything wrong with what he's doing from that perspective, right? Wow. He's basically saying, Blackburn saying Christian Combs basically sexually assaulting Miss the young lady, and we have it on tape, Blackburn said. Well, yeah, I think he's gonna have to show that in order to basically get his settlement, if you will. You know what I mean? From that perspective. So he's saying they got it on tape. Okay. You know what I mean? So, yeah, this is this is crazy. And like I said, once again, when you talk about truth and fact, Blackburn basically says that they got it on tape. The judge basically saying that, you know what, you need to be recommended to a disciplinary committee, for your actions involving filing lawsuits. So, and like I said, sometimes, man, when people see a gravy train in ways that they can get money, sometimes they become addicted to doing that. And being a lawyer is no different. Being a lawyer is no different. We've heard about lawyers being involved in different kind of schemes and things like that, and being disbarred. Rudy Giuliani basically lost his law license to practice law due to the January 6th thing. He was sued by those ladies for defamation, sued for like $200 million. They won the lawsuit. Now they're trying to collect, and he filed bankruptcy. Who else? Also, I think I forgot the other guy name, who was in Trump's atmosphere. One of the lawyers, basically, a judge just recommended that his law license be taken away. So this is not a far stretch from what really happens when lawyers kind of go above and beyond what they're supposed to be doing. But like I said, I just find it ironic. He ain't say, Carla, what'd you say? They're gonna go after his pets next. Like, yeah, he peed in my yard. I need 80 million. This is funny, man. you know, but like I said, once again, when you deal with the facts of the matter that a judge came out and said to Tyrone Blackburn, it's kind of, painting a picture of this guy as being some kind of frivolous lawsuit filer, filing cases with no merit, hoping that he can get a quick settlement. And not that came from a judge. You know what I mean? A judge who sits in federal court. Judges don't usually do that. The federal judges don't. You might hear that from a state court judge, but federal judges don't usually do that. And so, like I said, this case right here involving this young lady, it reeks of a money grab. It doesn't reek. It doesn't have any kind of substance behind it, if you will. So, like I said, we're gonna see what happens, man. And remember that Universal Music and Lucian Grange, the guy who is the CEO for Universal Music Group, basically they are now challenging the lawsuit. And so, listen to me. If you heard what the judge had said about Tyrone Blackburn in regards to another case, basically referring him to a disciplinary committee, right? If a federal judge made that statement, then remember, Lucian Grange and Universal are basically challenging that they were wrongfully added to the lawsuit involving Sean P. Diddy Combs and Little Rod. So if a federal judge made that statement, what do you think the judge that may be residing over their case is going to do? It's going to look a little bit closer at the merits. Going to look a little bit closer at if there's any facts, right? It's that simple. So right now, Little Rod's case, it's not looking good, man. Because like I said, if there was any real facts behind it, I would have believed that Diddy would have settled it already from that perspective. But remember, it's only civil, so it's money. It's like, okay, you lose a civil judgment, but when you got to show up in court and you got to go against a powerhouse attorney or a group of powerhouse attorneys, right? It seems like Mr. Blackburn keeps writing emails to the judge, but the judge is actually making statements and actual filings, and where she's making her recommendation that he go and meet with a disciplinary committee for basically filing lawsuits that don't have any kind of merit, making salacious statements in lawsuits, hoping that he may get a quick settlement, right? And P. Diddy's lawyer and them basically saying this new lawsuit is filled with the same kind of manufactured lies and irrelevant facts that they expect from Blackburn. He's kind of making himself a pariah in the courts. And like I said, you don't want to do that to your reputation. Because if you got a bad reputation of filing frivolous lawsuits, when your cases come up, if you come to deal with anything that's serious, then they're gonna look at you and be like, okay, oh, him again. Absolutely, absolutely. And as far as we've seen, Judah Royalty, we haven't seen anything from Little Rod's attorney in regards to that. Remember, they promised, these sex workers and all of that. They haven't shown us any sex workers. And what it tells me in filing this second lawsuit is that the first lawsuit is weak on its face, and meaning that what they've put up so far, it really doesn't have any kind of merit to it. It really doesn't have anything, any teeth or anything like that for it to stand on, if you will. So, yeah. And so now here we go find this young lady. We need to find somebody else, And then this young lady, she comes out of the woodwork saying, hey, I wanted to be a star in the music industry, and it didn't work out. I met Christian Combs, they promised to do a demo on me. When we got back to land, it didn't happen. Nothing happened, and now here comes all of these other allegations when in fact there was no police report made. Like I said, she was fired from her job, right? For what she says is retaliation. Retaliation for what? Once again, that's a complaint in itself. You know what I mean? She could have sued the ship, her job, period, if you want to, take it from that perspective. But she didn't. He got to pay Shorty thing back with the No Diggity song, Carla. Hey, no, but right though, but right, Carla. That's what I'm saying, Carla. This young lady is saying that there were sex workers on the ship too, right? So if there were sex workers on the ship, those girls are paid to be there. From that perspective, we don't know that for sure. We don't know that that's what it was or what it is. Actually, we don't know that, right? But the young lady is making an allegation and saying, well, people who appeared to be sex workers. None of this has been proven. It's salacious on, like I said, and the judge has basically said that Tyrone Blackburn makes salacious arguments in filings in federal court, right? Trying to embarrass the defendants and pressuring them into what? Settling the case. Now, the same thing. And so now what I was just reading to you is become a tactic, not only a tactic by Tyrone Blackburn, but a tactic also noticed by a federal judge. That's powerful, man. It's very normal to amend one's lawsuit, but not to include more evidence that is not backed by any kind of facts, though. He put no new supporting evidence to back up the claim that he made, Leroy Miles. Leroy's back again. So when you think about what you're saying, Leroy, I'm saying to you, a federal judge, and Leroy, you got to understand this because I think that you would understand this more than anybody, right? A federal judge. I'm going to read it again because Leroy, I think you just popped in the room. A federal judge, right? U.S. District Court Judge Denise L. Coate, who has resided over very important cases in the over the federal circuit, right? Criticized Tyrone Blackburn in a separate lawsuit this past Wednesday and referred him to a disciplinary committee for a pattern of behavior. And the pattern of behavior is this, where he improperly files cases in federal court to garner media attention. Right? That's number one. Number two, she said, he tries to embarrass defendants with salacious allegations. This young lady's lawsuit is an example of those salacious allegations in where nothing actually really happened. There was no penetration. There was no copulation. There was nothing according to the lawsuit, right? There was an attempt at that, right? But Mr. Blackburn has been filing lawsuits basically saying and trying to embarrass defendants with salacious allegations and also pressure defendants to settle quickly, or he's going to keep on with the onslaught of salacious allegations, right? Most people can't handle it. But I guess P. Diddy said, you know what? Man, they didn't already came at me. I done lost my, soul revolt, or, whatever he's done with his business involving that. You know what? I'm gonna go to court. Because like I said, if you know that you ain't involved in no sex workers or nothing like that, remember the first allegation was underage, girls. They have not shown us anything pertaining to any underage young ladies that was at P. Diddy's house drinking alcohol. And if that was the case, don't you think that there will be more people coming up saying that, if you will? From that perspective, I'm just talking about that situation alone, right? Little Rod showed us pictures that he took that did not say that did not back that up. And one of the young ladies in the picture was actually dating Justin Combs, if you will. And they had other pictures of them out on the town, hanging out, paparazzi had took, that they compared those pictures to the pictures that Little Rod had basically they put in the case. Another thing, they have not shown us any evidence of any sex workers. Us, I'm talking about the public. I'm not talking about what I want to believe, right? Leroy Miles, Leroy, please, Leroy, don't do that. Leroy, don't do that. This is a case that the judge was presiding over, another case in which Mr. Blackburn filed, and a judge can look at that and see what she says and come to that conclusion, Leroy. Leroy, you cannot come Supreme Court justice us in the chat, bro. Come on now. You can't do that, Leroy. We're not going to let you do that. We understand that you're a very intelligent young man, but we're not going to let you come in here and dictate to us what a federal judge can and can't do. If you're in a federal judge's courtroom, a federal judge can make a request or a suggestion. And basically, that's what that was. She made a suggestion that Tyrone Blackburn meet with a disciplinary committee in regards to what she thought was, and I'm going to say it again, him improperly filing cases in federal court to garner media attention, embarrass defendants with salacious allegations, and tried to pressure defendants to settle quickly. That's a federal court judge saying that. That's not us. You know what I mean? And so once again, evidently, the lawsuits that Mr. Blackburn has filed in his past, right? The lawsuits that he's filed in his past, they basically probably all read of the same thing. And it's just that simple. There is a pattern of behavior. The reason why the judge recommended that Little Rod's lawyer to a disciplinary committee, because she's seen a pattern of behavior. That means in the plethora of lawsuits that he's filed, he's basically filing and saying the same thing and making salacious allegations, trying to embarrass the defendants, trying to seek media attention. He, once again, Universal and Lucian Grange ain't got nothing to do with what P. Diddy doing at his house. They ain't got nothing to do with no sex workers or none of that, right? Come on. And that's why they didn't settle. That's why they're going to fight their lawsuit, period. If you know you didn't do anything wrong, then, you go ahead and you proceed and try to seek justice from that perspective. It's just as simple as that. It's just as simple as that. And so at the end of the day, when we talk about what this is and what this means, is that that's not a good look. And like Mr. Blackburn came back and said a referral is not a sanction, right? But the judge is basically trying to forewarn him that if she's feeling that way, and she's a respected judge in the federal circuit and where she works, then other judges are going to start to look at Mr. Blackburn with a side eye, if you will. You know what I mean? So yeah, it's gotten to that point, y'all. It's gotten to that point. It's a shakedown. Basically, the whole thing is a shakedown, if you ask me. Once again, because like I said, if Little Rod, when he came out, he's like, yo, they trying to steal my publishing. They trying to get over on me. Okay, cool. Then here comes the lawsuit, but then come all this other stuff in the lawsuit that has nothing to do with the real reason he really wanted to take Diddy to court. And then to add Universal, to add Lucian Grange, to add all of these other people, right? That has nothing to do with that. Then to amend the complaint, and then to go and then to basically add 50 Cent baby mama, and who else's baby mama, and these other girls from Instagram and so on and so forth, whom Diddy was seen kissing before. So they did have some kind of relationship, if you will, right? Like, what is that? That's kind of like being mad at a dude because he getting too much. You know what I mean? He seeing too many, fine women, and dude get mad like, yeah, I seen him with another girl, and blah blah blah. Let me put it out there. He dating 50 Cent baby mama too. Like, what? It just doesn't make any sense, man. And like I said, I just wanted to bring this to you guys, man. Yeah, the baby, right, etc. Now add it. Yeah, it's like it's crazy. It's crazy. So, like I said, with being basically dealt with like that with a federal judge, that means that they're starting to take a look at Tyrone Blackburn. And like I said, when he filed a case now from whether it's the Western District, California, the Eastern District, New York, the Southern District, Florida, the Northern District, Maine, any federal court that he comes to file a lawsuit in is going to be looked at skeptically. And like I said, and it's going to be well read, basically looking for the same allegations and salaciousness that he approached with the Little Rod lawsuit, now that he's approached with this young lady's lawsuit. Right. I still didn't see anything criminal going on either. But like I said, once again, it ain't up to me to see it. People saying things happen to him. Okay, cool. Right. Yeah. I don't know what he's gonna do, Agnes. I don't know what he's gonna do, Agnes, and you don't either. We just, like I said, we hope that if there is something wrong, or something that can be found to be wrong, that justice is seek for the victims, if there are any victims, right? But if not, then what? We just go on our lives and something else pop up in the media, and now we're gonna forget all about what this has happened and be like everybody on with their life. That's usually what happens. That's usually what happens. Like I said, yo, we're gonna see Leroy Miles. Come on, Leroy. Now I'm a Diddy sympathizer, and I'm not sympathizing with nobody, Leroy. You supposed to be an attorney. You supposed to be a little bit more level-headed. I'm trying to be level-headed. I'm not Diddy don't need nothing from me. He don't need nothing. He don't need me to support him. He don't need me to dislike him. And I've spoken in other videos and where it would seem as I'm criticizing, or I'm not on his side. I'm speaking down the middle. I'm trying to speak into the facts of the matter. But Leroy, since you can't be right, now you must try to point out, or basically obfuscate from the fact that a federal judge basically admonished Tyrone Blackburn for basically filing frivolous lawsuits, seeking media attention. So when you talk about that, let's talk about it. Leroy, you say you taught law, you teach criminal procedures, ain't that correct? Right. Come on, Puff Zaddy. You're not even this saying Puff Zaddy. Wow. You got people actually going around creating names with other people's names, basically uh, uh, perpetrating as if they're that person. Stop it, man. Come on now. Stop it. People like you for being you. Yeah, you do all of those things, Leroy, and if you do those things for real, and you're not just capping, we take our hat off to you. But Leroy, what you got to understand is I just gave you a fact, and then you came at me sideways talking about it. I sound like a Diddy sympathizer. No, I was just reading the facts. uh, uh, Puff Zaddy, come on, Puff Zaddy. We know that you're not related to Puff or nothing like that. This is not Puff Daddy or nobody like that. Come on now, right? That a lot of people are not basically reporting the fact the federal judge basically put Tyrone Blackburn on Front Street, if you will. Thanks, John. Like I said, once again, more importantly, appreciate you guys. Gang, straight gang. Your boy DELRAY, straight gang. One love.